deal on the house.
I mean, hey, listen,
Somebody rented the old Miller place. Not for long.
Don't you know you'll pay with your souls?
Oh yeah, you're not renting. You will live here.
This is your home now. So yeah, I am primed for some scary fucking fun.
Oh hey girl.
Oh hey girl.
Hey girl AM.
Hey girl. Hey. Speaking of which, I want to say thanks to all the people who are sticking with us during this pre-recorded era. Mm-hmm. It's fucking fun as shit for us. Hope it's still fun for you, even though this isn't live. But we're still raising money for the charities, and we're keeping it going. And hit us up on Patreon if there's anybody you want to get on the show. Aim high, Air Force. Who knows? Who knows who we know? Yeah, just want to say thanks for everyone that's to stick with us, and any fucking ideas or suggestions you have, just shoot them over, because this is still, a work in progress. And back to the show.
We got nothing.
Please help.
I think a haunted house that you're living in is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And you brought a newborn to it, which is always that. Every movie I've seen where that happens, that works out great.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty fucking heedless. We drove 3,000 miles with her, and now we're in a haunted house. I just it's like a fucking full speed ahead, fools rush in.
I like what you're doing.
Never mind the bullocks. Why not? I don't know. It's been.
I support, man. I'm just going full Oregon hillbilly.
I fully support that.
I just went out to a dirt pit to shoot a gun the other day, but I desperately wanted it like another guy to make out with while I was there. Yeah. Just to be like, hey, what's up? All right, let's go, everybody, and then just make out with a dude while I'm shooting into this dirt pit.
Yeah, I don't know if I fucking talked about this on the show, but like, did you ever see that sketch with John Larroquette and oh God, Troy McClure, help me out. Best fucking funny guy of all time.
Phil Hartman. And it was a gay communist gun club. And they're like hunters just walking. Mm-hmm. And then they just turn to each other, and you don't know what it is yet. Mm-hmm. And they turn to each other to start making out hard. I remember as a kid, I was like, what the fuck, men kissing? And it's like a call-in show. And they're like, gay communist gun club. We support the right to bear arms. We're communists and we're gay. And every call is like, I mean, look, guys, I love the fact that you love guns, but that other stuff. And they're just like, what? You can't have one without the other two. I don't know it. How could you love guns and not be communist and gay? There's another sketch that I think hit even closer to home with that. And I don't know who did it, but it was like two kind of like redneck looking guys, like Second Amendment guarantees gun rights for all Americans. And that's all we support, is that you exercise your right. And then like a militant black guy comes in, is like, yeah, all Americans. He's got like a AK-47. They're just like, I've been saying for years, man, gentrify the NRA. Everybody get an NRA membership. If everybody votes, you've diminished the power of the old white crusties that are in there.
Yeah, there's a couple guys that are kind of starting movements like that. There's actually a dude that has started the John Browne Gun Club.
John Browne Socialist Rifle Association, liberal gun owners. Oh yeah, I'm in it now. I'm in the community.
Did you join? Did you join the John?
I didn't join anything officially, but I've been paying it. Well, I'm saying, like, you don't have to get the NRA's blessing to put an NRA float in every gay pride parade. You could just make your own float and have it like try to out-gay the rest of the whole parade.
Oh, Kyle, can we do that? Can we go to Bass Pro Shop and buy regular like hunter gear, but just cut it sexy? Like tie it like that, and just roll the sleeves up, and
Eric at Meth Syndicate
shorts.
Eric over at Meth Syndicate makes crazy shirts, but he has a shirt that just says, I got, what is it? Mothman sucked my dick in the Bass Pro Shop's bathroom, and it just got the Bass Pro Shop's logo on it. But that one made it out everywhere. A lot of people wear that one.
That's so genius. Mothman sucked my dick.
It's how many different levels of esoteric nonsense can you throw on top? Like Mothman, suck your dick. Where? Oh, the Bass Pro Shop's bathroom.
I'm proud that I understood that on every level, from the myth to the region to the Bass.
Sounds about right. So, Mothman in there getting some camo, trying to blend in. He's sick of being spotted. He's horny, man.
Just looking to hork down some dong.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Mothman's probably non-binary. I don't know if that counts as a homosexual experience.
I think
he's Mothman though. He's not a moth person.
He's what do you call that? But where you kind of just not bisexual, but like he's polyamorous. Mothman is certainly polyamorous, like without a doubt.
Yeah, Mothman. If you're looking for a late in the season Halloween costume, Mothman.
That like two people will get, and you can't even go to bars or parties now. So you just got to walk down the street to let your costume freak
You're
flag
just
fly.
Explaining to trick-or-treaters' parents. It's don't worry. Just take the tiny Butterfingers.
You're familiar with the Jersey Devil? Nope. Okay. Okay.
Do you have a Halloween costume for Rose yet?
Yes. She.
You don't have to. If you're waiting for the visual, you don't have to blow the surprise.
I don't think it's a surprise. We got her an enormous shiny lobster costume that you put her in, almost like you put like a human in like a Tekken robot. So their body is bigger.
Yeah.
They operate from the inside. She has these fucking claws that are like this big, and her face comes out like that. And we both have we already have these kind of Gordon's fisherman-esque jackets we brought.
Yeah.
So we're going to button up and put the hoods up. And
you're going to carry her around in a pot, right?
Yes. That's a great, I think we got to get a pot. We don't have a pot yet. Yeah. Need a baby-sized pot.
Just
for her.
That's
well, and
the way it's
the rule is anytime just like, oh, we got her the cutest outfit. Put her in it. Blow out, like goes out the side of the diaper. Like the shit will find it. You put her in something super nice, she'll always. So she's gonna brown that lobster tail real fast. Yeah. It's just what they do, man. We got remember you Pam Clear. We went by Pam Clear's house in Chicago. Yeah. She'd been quarantining, so we stayed over there. We got to Kara put in the wrong address, just like nothing big, like a block away. Mm. And we pulled in, and we get Rose out, and she's browned her clothes, the car seat, like was just.
Please don't say brown, because it's also a cooking term, and it's really thrown me off. Just evenly browned both sides. It's got a nice sear.
She pan-seared the entire. Yeah, we get her out, and it's like, and she's always like, I talked this lady in a wine shop was making me laugh because she's like, oh, my grandson Jack is 3 months old. Rose is 2 months, and and like I was like, Rose, you just carry her and she'll just look over here, like she'll never look at you. He's like, oh, we joke he's looking at ghosts because there's so many ghosts in Providence. They're his friends.
Yeah,
and I don't know how much she was kidding, but
yeah,
that was one of the only times I took her out and she looked dead at me with this happy look, like, hi, Dad. And just like, now you look at me like that? You just covered everything in shit.
Yeah, I know. They got a sense.
I'm excited about the lobster outfit, but
Well, and if she's in the pot, you're like, oh, it's a hearty broth.
Hearty broth. This one. This lobster's molting.
Looks like we're going with jambalaya.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Are you and Rachel dressing as anything? Even for photo
I don't
ops?
think so. We're thinking of like what to do at the house, because I'm sure there's still going to be trick-or-treaters regardless of what's happening out there.
Yeah, you're on the burbs. There's no trick-or-treating in LA.
No, but you got a house, you got a yard, you got things like, all right, I appreciate anybody doing any effort. Store-bought stuff is always kind of, all right, sure. I'm glad you're putting an effort towards Halloween. I was thinking, we got a backyard with a fence. We put a bunch of neon lights and dry ice back there, so it looks like a UFO landing site. Just coming up from, and then we just come back and forth from behind the fence with like hazmat suits on and like bloody pieces of stuff.
Just the UFO crashed.
Yeah.
You're just out there just picking up, like, you have alien like arms and legs and like a big head, and you're just like
dragging body bags out, like, out from the yard.
Drunk driver. I don't know why people make intergalactic people make a mistake.
I wondered if like you can get the big inflatable like pumpkins or whatever, and they're just they're made out of like nylon or whatever. And they put the fan in them.
Yeah.
If you can, I mean, this is now if a money's no object thing, you get one, but it's like the tail end of an airplane. So you get that sticking up from behind a fence. So it looks like a plane crash.
Oh yeah.
But it's just an inflatable thing. I have ideas. I don't have execution. That's my problem.
I like the plane crash. And what if you dressed up as Buddy Holly and, Rachel dressed up as like Big Bopper or Richie Valens,
That's even just as a party costume with 4 friends and then one person dressed up in a cap, like a pilot's outfit.
Oh,
that's just that's just a good party outfit.
That would be awesome. Yes. When things go back to normal, we should do that one.
Put that one in the box. I think you should just have a seance in that room that you're in.
I will say it's like, get up during the night to feed Rose or to, clean her butt. But it's like, I haven't had that when I go get a glass of water, because there's all these like stairways to like, there's a stairway to the tiny kitchen, which is tiny, obviously. So the servant would just this. And there's a stairway. There's like another stairway to another part of the house, but then there's the main stairway. And I'm like, even going down those at night, ordinarily I'd be like, yeah, a huge grinning head is going to come around the corner and it's going to be a demon or, I haven't had that feeling. So if it's like ghosts, they're probably pretty chill. They're probably like, I will say I came back from a walk and I put Rose in it still because of the car seat, like attaches to the stroller. That's a stroller we have. And you just pull that out. So I pull that out, put it on this vintage couch, and I go around the corner and she just starts like crying, like, wah, wah. And I come back around and like, it's tilted, like someone just pulled it a little. And I think she just slipped in the couch a little bit, but part of me is like, she has been fucking caterwauling all day. Like maybe Ghost is like, you need to fucking cool it. Like a old matronly lady with a throat.
I've lived here for 250 years. This is the noisiest shit I've dealt with. That's 2 wars on American soil I've suffered through.
It's got to be like weird being an old ghost in the modern age of Airbnb, where they're like, how many times have they sold this house? My God. Some stay no longer than a night.
They're excited because they don't have to come up with new tricks. Like, just give them the classics. What do they got through Tuesday? Just give them the classics.
I'll come in, hook for a hand. When they turn, you pull your face off.
Yeah, you pull the face. Hit them with like a children's toy falling down the stairs. Even though there's no children's in the house. We don't have to dress it up for these guys. We got somebody staying for 2 weeks. They get a deluxe package.
Did you watch The Changeling? Is that what you did? George C. Scott with the children's toy? Is that why you said that?
No, but any kind of like a children's toy comes out of anywhere.
Yeah.
And there's no kids around. It's like, bah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. In that movie, it's a rolling ball it's so fucked up.
I'll put that one on well, speaking of old houses, my buddy in Michigan had like an old house, 2 stories with a basement with a fireplace that went through the whole house.
Oh.
And I'm checking it out. It's like a nice house, but then it's the basement. He's like, yeah, the kids just play down there. He's like, I just put a chalkboard up in front of the fireplace for them to play with so they don't use it. I'm like, oh, you just boarded up the door to the eternal souls with a mode of communication, and then you let your children hang around with it. Well, that's a great way to find out. I'm like, oh no, Billy sometimes helps us with our spelling. Like, get the fuck out of here.
And my thing is also, I was just thinking when you said that, my brain went, oh, and then you go down in the basement and there's something written on that fucking chalkboard. There's been no one down,
No, that's what I mean. Like they're just sitting there communicating through the chalkboard. He's got 4 kids. I'm sure he's like, so what, free babysitter? Fine. Let the ghost watch him.
You watch him. Yeah.
Yeah. What did we watch? I'm trying to think of scary. I went to the drive-in theater with Sean Jordan and watched American Werewolf in London. That was a good time. Classic movie. Oh, good times.
My favorite. Still my favorite. Scary and funny.
Scary, funny, and just ends. There's no big drawn out. It just ends.
And the ending always makes me laugh.
Yeah.
So sad, dead, naked.
Yeah, all the music was related to the moon or the wolves.
Yep.
They did a good job.
That JT dude, Haberstadt.
Yeah.
comic who makes those amazing action figures and stuff. He just put up a screenshot of that little British schoolboy with the outfit, and he's like, a naked American man stole my balloons. He just runs by naked and just puts them over his dick.
Yeah, it's in the zoo.
Yeah, that's right. He wakes up like in the lion's cage or something.
Yeah, revisiting that movie where the nurse is just like, oh, this guy that was attacked by an animal is crazy. I better let him stay at my house.
Yeah, I'm insanely beautiful.
I'm sorry your friend died. And you just came out of a 3-week-long coma. You want to bone right away?
You want to move in? Do you want to move into my house? Yeah, strange American.
Well, that's what, if you know you're a werewolf, that's like the easiest thing to get through as far as supernatural ailments to befall a person. If you're just like, oh, full moon's tomorrow, I'm going to lock myself in this cage.
Yeah, I got this. I bought a bank vault. Only my wife knows the combination.
Yeah, you can live a healthy life as a werewolf. Once I'm vegan the whole rest of the month because when full moon comes out, let me tell you, I go hog wild.
I just have the meat sweats for 3 days.
I pulled a Traeger grill in there last month to see, but I lacked the patience. I went raw meat right down the hatch. Did not have the time to smoke these wings.
On the bone, raw meat.
I ate the bone. I ate it all.
my teeth crunched through the bone.
Next day,
when I'm a werewolf, my head is enormous.
I have a real sore the next day. Real sore jaw.
Real
chewing through cow bones.
I must have took down a beast of a man. I don't know what. I must have really got ambitious. I don't know.
Speaking of bank vaults, you've played the Comedy Connection there in Providence, where the green room is a bank vault.
Yes,
kind of neat.
Yeah, I like that club. That's a good club.
I've had fun. I've always had like weirdos there. Yeah,
well, you get like I think that's the thing about Providence. It's just like it's like the old world charm and the progressives, and then there's like dudes that just wear hoodies and basketball shorts all year round that would just like whip you with a chain. Like there's the two. But like Kurt Brauner got like physically attacked after his show. I remember by some dude.
Club, it's a good size club run by cool people, but apparently I was there the one night when Ray Harrington, who's from I think just outside of Providence, very funny comedian, Ray Harrington, look him up, opened for me in Providence Theater when I played it, one of my last shows earlier this year. He was hosting the Dirty Show on Friday night, and I was just watching, and some guy was like heckling, and Ray's real funny and real good with crowd work. And like would shut him down, the guy would still just be like, whatever, fuck you, man. And then Ray finally just goes, you're just ruining the show right now. And this guy was just like, yeah. And that was like, that summed up an attitude that I felt in Providence of like, you're being an asshole. You got it. Like,
you got it.
What if you didn't want it? Like, these are just, you've just been hit by your dad before he left so much. Yeah, and that any attention's good attention.
I feel like that's mostly Philadelphia, but I think Providence has got probably a healthy chunk of it too, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
It is almost like
that's the true scariness of New England. These fucking towny psychos that want to kick the shit out of you because they don't like your eyebrows.
I don't care about ghosts. I'm cool with that.
Look at this fucking homo with his new haircut. Like, okay, hey, we all get haircuts. We all get haircuts. Yeah. Yeah, but not nice ones like that. What did that one cost you? All right.
Voting for Trump, living on government aid. Angry at immigrants for juice in the system. What the fuck?
Well, fun times. At least there's also ghosts.
I did have a good laugh when I went and got my sister-in-law. Her birthday was 2 days ago, and on Monday we went and picked up a cake from this bakery in like the hip part of town. Mm-hmm. And the dude behind the counter, tatted up, young guy or youngish, early 30s, was like, oh, cool. He was like, what brings you to town? And like, oh, we drove cross country. Wow. And what brings you to Providence? Was, we should love it here. We rent a house in College Hill. He's like, oh, bummer. That sucks. I'm like, why? Like, oh, the shitty college kids. Like, I'm okay, but
yeah.
like,
They're young. When you just say like shitty people in their late teens, early 20s, or it is an Ivy League college, and I see a lot of like hip looking kids.
I mean,
I haven't been. It's not like
kids either, but
it's not like I'm out on a Friday night bar hopping in like Ann Arbor, University of Michigan.
You're supposed to be an asshole in college. Like that's when you get to
a little bit. I mean,
maybe that's why there's so many ghosts in New England, is because they're like, hold on, I'm not done being a prick yet. And then they like stick around. Like that's their commitment to just ruining somebody else's day, is that even after death, they return.
Your level of assholery determines your afterlife length. Yeah, exactly. I tried reading some H.P. Lovecraft to Rose, and when I was feeding her, and the Call of Cthulhu, which is set right around.
It's all in the cadence of the voice.
Yes, but like anytime I would get into anything really dark, it was really funny. She would just go, just start going like I had this look of like not crying, but just like nah, like that shit ain't for me. It's
too much. Too soon.
There are ancient gods that exist beyond our realm of perception that exist to kill and feed off us and cause us ultimate destruction. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm 2 months old. You get a copy of Good Dog Carl or something, you fuck. You know.
I know 7 words right now, and none of them show up in this book.
I don't know what you're saying, but none of it is warming. This is
hey, Dad, how about you tell me how many times you mispronounced Cthulhu before somebody corrected you? And then we'll see if this reading material is appropriate for my age.
Oh, none? Okay, you fucking nerd. You asked her.
Cthulhu, Cthulhu.
Cthulhu.
Bless you. I don't know. Never read Lovecraft. Worth it? Sci-fi or horror?
I like it.
Sci-fi?
A lot of it's, like, horror fantasy, kind of like, but all set in Providence and like old colonial towns where like a dude sees some shit that shouldn't exist and it fucks up his head and he goes mad, throws himself in the sea, like that kind of shit.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to like get into the spooky stuff. Like I said, we watched,
what else have you watched besides American Werewolf?
Well, Rachel doesn't like the scary stuff so much.
Neither does Kara.
So we threw on the original Stepford Wives. So a little bit of like a,
yeah.
What would you call that?
That's good. I haven't seen that.
Sci-fi? Kinda.
I would say more. Yeah, I would say like sci-fi horror because it's real fucked up.
Yeah,
but it is. It's just robot women.
But that was a good one. It's good. I mean, with the like being in Oregon now with the rain and everything, it's like good fall.
Yes.
Autumn vibes.
Oh yeah.
We got a whole list here. It's a real like we start something and she's like, I can't, Mom. I'm like, all right, I understand.
We got a good I got a good fix because her friends Chris and Trish, who she grew up with, who are married, Trish's mom has a house in New Hampshire. It's out in the out in the woods right by Lake Winnipesaukee from like What About Bob? Right out there. And we just like drank beers and grilled and watched horror movies. So we saw Cabin in the Woods, which I've seen.
Modern classic
without a doubt. Bradley Whitford, so fucking funny in that movie.
Both those dudes on the golf cart.
Yeah, Richard Dawkins is that his name, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's from here. But yeah, fucking well, then the loss of life and tequila is my lady. Stupid
merman.
Yes, once a mermaid finally gets killed by one. Fright Night, which is awesome. That's a good one. Lost Boys. Watch the Lost Boys.
I'm gonna watch Lost Boys. I've never seen Lost Boys. I know I need to see it.
That's nuts.
I talking about? Did you ever see the movie Trick or Treat with Skippy from Family Ties and Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne?
Yes.
I'm sure it's not a good movie, but when you watch something when you're 7, you're like, wait a minute, rock and rollers and blood and guts?
Yeah.
You got it.
Heavy metal, which actually worships Satan, which like it never did when we were, in that era.
In the 80s and you're
now it does. Now they have bands that do, but like never.
Like, but also if you looked into modern Satanism is the most inclusive, benign religion that's also existing to challenge all these Supreme Court rulings about separation of church and state. Like anytime something comes in where it's like Well, because we have to allow this Christian principle in with this. They're like, oh, you're allowing all religions? Hello. And
Yeah.
they just show up just to challenge these.
We like a bust of Baphomet, the deceiver, out next to.
They got one in Oklahoma.
Hilarious.
Like, you want to put 10 commandments up? Cool. It's got to be equal for all of them. And they held a gay wedding on the Fred Phelps's grave, the leader of the Westboro Baptist Church. They had a pink wedding. They had a gay wedding on his grave. I think they're awesome. I think they're just rascals.
We watched just because I hadn't seen it since I was a kid. We watched Nightmare on Elm Street, and like, it's okay. I remember as a kid, it really fucked me up, but I think because the mythos we've known our whole lives, it's just like, oh, didn't really, some of the effects were good and freaky, still good, but just like, very ending's awesome still. But
I should revisit that. I tried to watch a movie called The Green Inferno. I did watch it. Did you watch that one from like the? No,
I just know it's Eli Roth, just like really likes kind of torture shit. Which
it was like a good concept, and then it just turned into like, are you grossed out? Yeah, that's not. I think with an effects budget, anybody can come up with gross shit. Like, you didn't trick me. You just did gross shit.
This wasn't something that I was like an amazing part of the plot that was like essential.
No, it's just like
it's like, how can we get horrible shit done to human bodies and make it like just gross?
Yeah, it's like junior high shit to me.
Yeah.
Junior high, scare your Sunday school teacher type of thing.
Well, look, what should we bring on our special guest?
Let's
also
do it,
horror.
Yes.
Let's do it. Our good pal, Eliza Skinner, AKA the Final Girl. Please welcome. Just wanted to call her that for the horror fans. Please welcome Eliza.
Sweater. Yes.
Matching
sweater on the dog.
Matching sweaters.
Or it looks like you're just holding a dog's head.
Oh,
like committing to the horror.
You can see.
Hey girl. We started with hey girl.
Hey girls. Lot of thoughts.
Yeah. All right. Hit us with it.
First of all, Slayer were Satan worshipers. That was their thing.
I guess that's true, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking, because the ones they would go after back in the day was all like hair metal, and they just worshiped like booze, drugs, and boobs. Like,
all right. If we're going deep, Deicide is really the band.
that
was trying to scare people the most. But I still think it was all pageantry.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, all of it. I remember when I finally heard Kiss, because I was too scared to listen to it when I was a kid. And I was like, this is going to be so scary. And then I was like, oh, this is musical theater. This is like,
these are party dads.
Yeah, it's so silly. Also, you've never seen Lost Boys.
No. And I'm an 80s, as a fan of the Coreys and Kiefer Sutherland. I thought Flatliners was a great Halloween movie.
It's good.
I'm going to say with Lost Boys,
Kiefer Sutherland,
lower the bar right now.
Yes.
Do not expect much. This movie is not a good movie. It is a great selection of images and catchphrases. Yep. Like, it's made for you to make out during it.
Oh, that's all I'm looking for. Rachel was playing the soundtrack at dinner for it last night.
It's perfect. I rewatched it recently with someone who'd never seen it, and I was like, sorry, it's not so much of a movie, but look, that guy just like fucking died on a stereo.
Isn't it like a lot of dusters and pop collar vampires?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Crappy goth vampires. And it's in Santa Cruz. Come on, all right. I mean,
and they're just picking off locals randomly at night. The vampires just fly in and just start eating, there's a lot of there's a scene where there's couples making out, and then what? And you just see the vampire eyes.
Yeah.
This is okay. I don't know, how you feel about money or this or that. Like, I can justify large expenses on a whim for some silly things, but I don't know what it is about having Amazon and Netflix and all this shit that if I'm like, oh, they have the movie and it's like $3. I was like, fuck you. And like, I won't rent the movies because I'm like, I already pay for all these services, and Lost Boys is one of those, like, am I going to like $3 worth of it right now?
You will. And I will say that as someone who owns the DVD of it. So
okay,
if you want to borrow a pan and scan version of it, I got you covered.
All right, Lost Boys, go $3 budget for Lost Boys.
Yeah. I have a Lost Boys poster that I've put in like most of my offices. If I get to put up posters, I have a small Lost Boys poster and a small Earth Girls Are Easy, and I'm like, that's pretty much me.
Nice. Yeah, and it's like I like the roving gang of hot dude vampires. Like, you know,
it's
kind of
my
like
dream.
rock dudes.
That's like, I'm still like, maybe a bunch of like teenage vampires are gonna find me someplace. And they won't.
You can kill me at the end, guys. I don't care. I just need a night out.
Yeah, please. It cracks me up how they go for Jason Patrick, because he's like a hot disaffected dude in town who moves there with his mom and little brother. They're just like, that dude's sexy. He has to be one of us.
Oh, you know? Fun, a double shot Hollywood bullshit. So one, as I said, I have that Lost Boys poster that I often put in offices. In one of my jobs, one of the women who was like kind of higher up in the company than me came in, saw the poster. She was like talking to me about projects. She was like, okay, so we have the shoot ready for, oh, I slept with him. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, Jason Patrick. That was a weird weekend. And I was like, you have to tell me everything about this. What are you talking about? Which that was one of those moments where I was like, I made the right move moving to LA. This was right.
Oh yeah.
That woman's always smoking a cigarette, even though she quit 15 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. That's how she holds pens. And another time when I watched Lost Boys recently, I also just happened to have watched Bill and Ted, and on Twitter I was like, oh, so much Alex Winters, this is great. And Alex Winters was like, no problem, Eliza. And I was like, this is such a weird world. What a weird world we live in.
He's just around behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Alex Winter.
He's always been like working, doing.
Have we seen the new one yet?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we?
Yeah, I mean, it's for like the old one was for a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
The new one is for a middle-aged person, which when you realize that watching it as a middle-aged person is a little bit of a hard pill to swallow.
Yes.
But once you can be like, you know what, it's true. This is me. Then
like it's like Cobra Kai, kind of.
Yeah. Exactly.
I find Cobra Kai more enjoyable because it's like, I don't think there was literally not even as much anticipation. There was no anticipation. Like, I feel like no one saw Cobra Kai coming, kind of thing. Yeah. With Bill and Ted, they've been talking about it for a while.
It had a lot to live up to.
True.
I thought it was fine. It was worth it to watch it. And I loved that it was like around an hour and a half. Wrapped it up. You know?
Everything should be. Oh, and also, as far as what you guys were talking about before I got to talk, as a female horror super fan, one of my favorite, I love body horror, and I'm shocked that more women aren't championing that genre, because I feel like women's bodies especially go through like
body.
It's body transformation, like
The Thing or something like that.
Definitely The Thing. Even werewolf stuff would be considered
werewolf stuff.
Horror.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't like the stuff.
Never heard the term.
People like melt or like.
I love it.
Weird. Most body horror, I don't like. Ones that just rely on body horror, I like, especially like newer ones. I don't dig, but like.
I love it.
Really?
I feel like women's bodies go through these weird changes where we're like, what's happening at different stages. And to have that be like that like terror and panic about it be front and center is like kind of cool. And also, so my favorite movie is The Fly, which is not only body horror, but also like a great romantic tragedy.
Yeah.
So that would be my suggestion.
Jeff Goldblum one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We all like Jeff Goldblum, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Gina Davis is awesome. You know,
Earth Girls Are Easy.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Goldblum, he pushes everybody into the the middle of the spectrum, I think, on like
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
it's just he's so interested in
yeah.
the
Yeah.
things about you.
And,
It's like, what am I thinking?
in incredible shape. I have an incredible body for my age, and
Oh, you have a piano. I noticed. Would you mind if I
after I do some pull-ups, I got.
Also, his name's Jeff Goldblum. Goldblum.
Yeah, which is it's Old Norse for special dick.
See, Jeff, take it or leave it. If he just went by Goldblum, you'd be on board too.
He had to basic it up. He couldn't just have a first name like his last name. He would explode. Yeah. Oh, your poster story reminded me. When I was a PA, I delivered something to a dude's office, that some executive or something, and he's on the phone, and he's like, "Yeah, just leave it right there. Wait. Hey, let me call you back." And he points down, and there's a real rudimentary painting of Batman in the Batmobile, like looking out the window. It's fine, but something just real kind of like blocky, but you knew it was Batman by the shapes and the colors. And he goes,
didn't have Batman with an arrow written on it.
Nope.
Okay.
But the guy goes, "I just got that. It's a guy I work with. Guess who painted that?" I'm like, "I don't know." And he goes, "Adam West. Have a good day." Just told me that Adam West gave him a painting of Batman.
Oh man, I hope he has a whole series of Batman paintings.
I mean, it's just
painting you in a costume, painting a self-portrait of you in your most well-known role.
The thing you're most famous for.
I mean, if you went to a gallery show of Adam West art and it had like 30 paintings, all different things, one of them was Batman, which one are you going to buy?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But if they're all Batman, you'd be like, we should check on Adam. Is Adam okay? He just keeps painting really bad self-portraits of him as Batman. And I think
these Batman are so sad.
Yeah.
He was the only not sad Batman.
They're all all of them are called My Father Never Knew, but then they're numbered 1 through 30.
Batman refuses to get out of the
Batbed.
Batmobile at the scene of the crime.
At the gallery. He's right there. He's having a glass of wine. His dad's here. Why?
Yeah, but he won't. He's not looking at the art at all. It's really sad.
I was talking with Rachel and I always wondered if, because I got busted for laughing at some art at the Museum of Modern Art in Chicago, because it was like a video installation of somebody swimming underwater in slow motion with some weird screechy version of Chris Isaak's Foolish Game playing.
Oh, God.
And it was hilarious, and I laughed at it. I was stoned, and then people were like, "Oh," I'm like, "Fuck, you don't get to tell me how I get to like this art."
Yeah.
And I always wondered if somebody like made art, but then the artist would stay in the museum to watch people try and figure it out, and they're just like,
for sure, that
it's
had
bullshit.
to happen.
Yeah.
There are definitely pieces that are like performance pieces where the piece is the artist. Like Marina Abramovic did a lot of like, you can nail me to the wall or whatever. One of my favorite things, you guys know Cindy Sherman, artist Cindy Sherman. She was a photographer. She got famous because Madonna produced one of her first gallery shows of a series called Untitled Film Stills, where she took pictures that looked like film stills from movies that didn't exist with her in them.
Oh, wow.
So she got really, since that was her first show, she got really kind of hot and trendy as an artist.
Yeah.
So everyone was collecting her work. So I don't think it was the next series, but pretty soon after that, she did a series of grotesques that were just totally disgusting paintings. There would be like piles of shit with like eyeballs in them and like old fingers and stuff. And the point was, yeah, you going to put this in your living room? Am I that trendy? Come on, art people, buy my picture of shit.
Your money.
I find it hilarious. I love it so much.
Yeah, I like when artists, or if like it's a video installation, but it's the people trying to interpret the art is the video installation in another part of the museum. Like,
you're an artist, Kyle. You have to do that. That's an amazing idea.
It's like art critics are always like, ooh, but then artists are like, some of them are just fun. Some of them are having a good time.
Yeah.
They're fucking around.
Anyway, I'm rebranding myself as an artist these days.
I want to see that video installation of people being like, yes, it seems like it's a difficult journey that he's talking about. And it's just like Chutes and Ladders or something.
And I also, just based on, in our world, I will say it. There's been a give and take between, fuck you, and
okay, kind of funny. Whenever there's a comedian who's like, I'm more of a performance artist, but they're still doing like comedy shows and comedy open mics and taking up space. And it's just like, no, you're trying to be funny. But when your joke eats shit, you're a performance artist.
Yeah, you've given yourself the out.
I got to
give yourself permission to be this funny.
Yeah.
Didn't laugh, it's art. You laugh, it's comedy.
That's my next album, though. Didn't laugh, it's art.
You didn't laugh, it's art.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you have a new album out, right?
Yes, I do. It's called Regarding My Lovers.
My Lovers. Great title.
Thank you. Thanks.
I love it.
Yes.
And a TV show. And a TV show.
Yes, I have a show, Earth to Ned on Disney Plus. It's super weird. People can't tell if it's a TV show for kids or adults. And the answer is yes.
Sweet spot.
Yep. I've gotten a lot of messages from stoner friends who are like, I liked your show and then I got high and now I love your show. Like, yeah, that's about right.
Nailed it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a late night talk show hosted by aliens it was produced by the Jim Henson Company. So the aliens are all Jim Henson puppets. And it's out on Disney Plus.
No, it's puppets? I thought it was animated.
No, animatronic puppets, but they're puppets.
Are the guests aliens too?
No, the guests are real, like human celebrities that they beam onto the ship. So they're like, whoa, what is happening? And then the alien sits them down and is like, explain to me art. I don't know what that is. Or explain fashion. Or explain
that's funny.
Comedy.
Love it.
Like we did a comedy episode and the guests were Kristen Schaal and Paul Scheer and the sidekick of the show went on a field piece where he became a comedian after doing a set at the Improv and getting some counseling from Maria Bamford. So it's been like really fun to just collect people and be like, what would an alien end up thinking about humans if these people taught these aliens everything they know?
I love that.
Do they ever come back at you where you've written something for the puppets and like, we can't do this with puppets?
Yes.
Oh, really?
And I would answer that for you, Kyle.
I would feel that like that would be a common internal
she did.
challenge of like, I got to get them to do this with the puppets.
Yeah, but I mean, luckily nothing was. It wasn't too like extinguishing or I didn't feel really hemmed in. I was surprised. I really expected them to say no a lot more than they did. But the Henson Company really wanted to stretch boundaries. So before I would even have to fight for something, Brian Henson would, or just, whoever from the Henson Company using that name being like, well, we are the Henson Company.
Yeah, I feel like they don't want to back down from a challenge. Like we can't put the name Henson on it if we don't give it a shot.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, one of the interesting things about Disney was they wouldn't let us have anyone refer to anyone else as stupid or an idiot, a moron, any of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And we had these aliens who were playing, they were kind of military aliens, like the ship's commander and his first mate. And so normally the stuff that we wrote, it had them being like, oh, you dumb, you don't understand anything about humans. And Disney was like, nope, none of that. And so we're like, oh, okay, that's probably good. But I would not have expected that. And I wouldn't have expected it as like totally across the board as it was.
Well, okay, that's now as the creator of it, how do you feel about being told that you can't make something the way you want it to, but you see the result of it being like, oh, we want to present this image of positivity. If kids aren't going to watch this, we don't want to be responsible for the ones teaching them these words or these attitudes.
I think that if it was like when I got hired, the show was just supposed to be for adults. And then it kind of slid into family co-viewing and then like more like, let's really make something that kids can watch on their own or with their parents or whatever. But parents can definitely be in the room. If it was for adults, I probably would have had a problem with it. But since I'm making a show for kids and my instinct with kids programming is the stuff that I watched growing up where I'm like, kids should be scared. There should be certain places where you won't look when the lights are off. Like, that's good for you. It's good to be horrified. And then I'm like, wait, is it? Or is that just how I grew up? Maybe kids don't need to be like shaken around as much as I was by watching Poltergeist when I did or whatever. So I kind of take that stuff with a grain of salt. And I'm like, maybe Disney knows better than me about not modeling people calling each other stupid. Maybe that is good.
And the
Well,
thing that it made me think of was it's like anytime I feel people have puppets and it's like, but it's for adults. It just goes so hard dirty so fast.
Yeah.
And just going to the same tropes of it's funny because he's an asshole. You know, like just that same shit that just keeps getting barfed out again and again. So like when you were like, oh, I can't use those terms. I was like, oh, I could see that make you exercise muscles, comedic muscles you didn't really know you had. And it kind of makes it more.
Yeah, and they still get across this like disdain for each other. It didn't mean that we had to write them like, you're so smart, you're so great. They were just like, oh, this guy. And
yeah, I mean, it's like I think Kyle and I had this idea of like, I think it was you and I, Kyle, back when we lived together, of like if we just took a person and beamed them into a sitcom, and everyone's just such a fucking dick all the time, like because they talk to each other so ruthlessly mean and put each other down constantly.
because it's all snappy writing.
Joke. And the guy's just going, that's really awful. Why would you say that to me? Do you mean that, man? No. I just let him talk for himself. Like the guy's just getting angrier and angrier as he goes. And they're just kind of sitcom bots that live in this world. And they don't know how to react to someone that doesn't live off of continual insults.
The thing that I have found is like really grinds my gears about sitcoms now, especially older sitcoms, because I think we've all been rewatching old TV in this quarantine, right? Yeah. And so many shows have drop dead gorgeous women, and the bit is talking about how ugly they are all the time, talking about how no one will fuck them and they're so ugly. Like Grace on Will and Grace, everybody on Cheers, like both Diane and Rebecca, on Friends, even like Monica, they're like, ugh, no one will do it with her. And it's like, what are you talking about? These people are so hot. And I realized like growing up with that, I'm like, oh God, what did I think I had to look like?
But
Jesus.
But that was the popularity of Roseanne, where everybody's like, they look like us. And then they just turned into semi-racist, pill-popping weirdos. I'm like, they really are like us. Like, wow, these characters really came to fruition and turned into a lot of my family members.
When I found out that like one reason John Goodman was so amazing is that they had Roseanne, who's just a straight up stand-up, and then they needed someone who was like a hardcore trained actor, but that looked like someone's, big, angry, but frumpy dad. And it just made me go, fuck, I wish I would have seen him doing Shakespeare or like.
I believe he did Waiting for Godot on or off Broadway at one point.
Jesus Christ. That would have been amazing.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the puppet thing. Like, I know, Eliza, you're saying like, oh, I shouldn't have maybe learned about I realized that I've never been playing the audio through my earpods this whole time. I've had these in for an hour. Just listening to my Jesus Christ. I was left alone. Like I watched the way I watched The Shining, I was about 10 years old, and my mom saw me watching The Shining and just went, oh, that one's scary. Good night. And let me watch it by myself. Because she loved all that stuff. And she kind of felt like very harmless about like play in the dirt, get a little dirty, watch scary movies. I watched all that stuff way too early. I think I have a healthy adjustment to that. I still won't watch The Dark Crystal. That stuff looked creepy as shit as a child, and as an adult now, I'm like, these weird nymph. Nope. No thanks. Nope.
Yeah, the uncanny valley with the face that doesn't really move quite right.
Oh, God.
I don't want it. I don't.
That's the stuff for puppets for adults that fucks me up for sure.
Yeah. I mean, and those are all the things, basically anything that kind of scratched the back of my brain when I was a little kid became the things that I became obsessed with. So like Gremlins, Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, all of those things that were a mix between scary and whimsy and cute. I mean, especially Gremlins, that was like a cute mogwai and then a horrifying gremlin. And I'm
Gremlins is so scary. Gremlins is a solid scary movie.
Yeah. And I don't know what it was about Dark Crystal that I was like, no, thank you. Just right away. Never even gave it a shot. That's my fault.
They're Botoxed. Like their faces don't move. Their mouths move, but the like expression that you would see in a face that humanoid isn't there with those puppets. And so it's very disturbing.
Like that's like the Real Housewives of whatever cave they lived in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Kyle, back to what you're thinking about The Shining. My friend Nick, who I grew up with, has 2 sons, and we went down a wormhole of stuff that used to really messed us up as kids. And one thing that really messed him up, and me, and probably you guys, was Poltergeist, the dude pulling his own face apart.
Of course.
I mean, even just the clown.
Oh,
That
the clown. Clown, I feel, is number 1. Face is second.
Clown. The maggots on the chicken. Swimming. You want to go in a swimming pool after that? If you watch that in the
I remember my
summertime-
friend-
that eats a boy.
My friend in like first grade was like, our favorite part of Poltergeist is the end in the swimming pool. And we call it, come on in, the water's fine. They had a catchphrase for that. Also, you guys know about what happened during the shooting of that scene?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, Kyle?
Do you know, Kyle?
No.
Real
Jonathan
skeletons.
Did
There were
Jonathan
real
Landis come in and
skeletons.
kill somebody?
No, they were in the pool and those were real skeletons that the actors were swimming with because real skeletons are cheaper than fake skeletons.
Yep.
So they did. And then the actors found out like halfway through and sued the production because they were like, you can't put us with a bunch of corpses in a pool. And that's apparently something that happens semi-frequently on B horror movies. They will use actual human remains because
Without
it's
a doubt.
cheaper than fake
That's-
ones.
It's hard. They're hard to build. But before I forget, so anyway, so Nick walked in and his youngest son watching Poltergeist, and it was that scene, was middle of the scene, the dude's pulling his face apart, and Nick is like going to run over, like he felt like I failed as a father, fuck, and he got to the back of his kid's, like the chair the kid was sitting in, or the couch, and he sees his kid pick a controller up and go, "This is stupid," and just turned it, like that's in the middle of the fucking. This is stupid. Like it was just, and he's behind him, like.
That's the kid you worry
that
about.
Fucked me up horrible. Like just walked away. Like his kid did not even know he was in the room, and just was like.
Well, to go to one of the things we're going to talk about is any kind of half-cooked premises that we've come up with in quarantine, because we're not doing stand-up. It relates to this subject.
Okay.
And another, in a weird roundabout way, bear with me, there's a great book, and I can't remember the author's name. It's called Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, and it's a woman that went to, she's a mortician, and she's all about death positivity and like accepting, like not being scared of this because it's unknown. And, I'm about it. And but she talks about going to mortuary school, and Caitlin Doty, Jake coming in, Caitlin Doty, Caitlin Doty, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes.
She's like the cool Undertaker or whatever.
That book was great, but she talks about how you're talking about like the skeletons being in the pool. You donate your body, you think it's going to be like, oh, and then an orphan's going to get my eyes, and it's like. No, man, you donate your body. And a joke I was trying to make is like, how you don't get to dictate where your body go. Like you could donate your body to science and it just goes to sports medicine. And it's just your corpse at the end of a tennis court while they're testing out the strength of the automatic ball server. Broke all his ribs. So I guess we got to torque this one down a little bit. Like, you don't know what you're signing your body off for.
You need to be able to say which kind of science. Like, I would only like to go for like hair treatments, and breakthroughs with manicures.
I want my skeleton to be donated to sports science and to be like, I want my skull blown apart by like a batting cage, baseball shooter, or tennis. Actually. Your thing, tennis ball shooter, right as students come in. Like that is in my contract. Like if you want this body, this is what has to happen.
Why are we using real cadavers? Well,
why is that on the court? Oh,
he signed off. That's one way to make it in the movies, everybody. You wanted to break into showbiz. You never made it. Make sure they use your skeleton in the horror movies.
I mean, supposedly the big theater thing is becoming the skull that's in Hamlet.
Yorick.
Whatever. Yeah, that guy.
Is there anything worse?
Whatever. Have you guys seen the bodies exhibit? Yes.
That one was I saw that early on, and it was
very
rough.
Familiar, but
yeah, me too. I saw it early on with my family. It was like we're all in New York for a weekend. Here's a fun thing to do, and it was like cool, fun. And then at the end, they reveal like, oh, by the way, all of these body parts, they're from Chinese prisoners and mental institution unclaimed bodies. Yeah. And so the signature book is just all people being like, why didn't you tell us this before we bought tickets? This is horrible what you've done. And like 2 days later, I was like, I wish I could wash that whole experience out of my brain. Why was that entertainment?
That's you just reminded me. That's honestly why, like, my mom and dad were like, oh, we really want to go. And I'd already heard that. I forgot that was like, what, 20 years ago or something. And I was like, I'm not going. It's so depressing.
I didn't know. I went and saw it, and then, like, a friend and I afterwards, it was like, did that one guy have like a huge crank? We're like, okay, yeah. All right. We both, that's what our takeaway was, like, one of the
I just don't know why they took off all the skin except the eyebrows. So you'd see all these like skinless people playing basketball with eyebrows and belly buttons. They would keep the belly buttons.
That's what was our conclusion. It wasn't a huge crank. It was that they took everything else, so he looked svelte elsewhere, and then had a big old donger hanging on.
That had to be it. And so they all of them had been killed by Pinhead. Thanks, everybody. Little Hellraiser joke for everyone out there.
I just thought it was weird that it went from like, oh, this is a scientific exhibit and we're in a science museum and this is what the veins look like because we put the chemical in to preserve the vein. This is interesting. And then it just turned to like, this guy's playing basketball.
Yeah.
This guy's on a horse and the horse also doesn't have flesh. And I'm
this is what it would look like if you played football without any skin. Like, I don't ever have that question. None of me have that question.
That's the trick about being a horror fan and like, oh, I like it. There's always that one step, like, I would hope for everybody, it's like pushes your button finally.
Yeah.
Like, Body World does like,
oh,
and that's everywhere. Body World is everywhere all the time.
Let's round robin this. What's the thing in horror movies you're like, nah, that you do? I can't like
it's hack or it's gross.
Animals getting hurt. Any kind of like that.
That's a big one for me.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Actually, just this doesn't push me too far, but it just does not do anything for me. Is any kind of possession, any of the Catholic style horror? I'm like, this is so silly. So what? You have to have the secret word for the demon, and then he's like, "Oh no, you said my secret word. Bye bye." Yeah. Like what? I don't buy it.
I'm like, why don't we got to move to another religion. Get some of their demons coming out.
Who is Catholic here? Who is Catholic here?
I was.
Did you get the Catholic guilt? You didn't get any of that?
Oh yeah, I still have it. I worked with Karen and I worked with a trainer back in her hometown this morning, working out in the fucking driveway, and she made us run up and down the street. And she's like, "I like that you ran exactly to the pole, even though you're so tired." And I'm like, "Catholic guilt." Like, and it was serious. Even if you're not watching, God is. Like, it's just in me. I don't even believe that shit anymore. I mean,
you throw the scary nuns and stuff. I'm like,
but it just never leaves you. And I remember you said like you don't like the possession shit. The devil shit when I was a kid, I was just like all about because it scared me more than anything. Devil shit.
I also think it's deeply flawed. If I was a demon who was going to possess a body, I would not be trying to like fuck up that body's skill and break its arms and legs so it can walk backwards. No. I would be like, let's get you in a bath. Let's do some facial stuff, maybe some stretching, get into yoga. Like, mistreat these bodies.
Then you're not a demon. Then you're not a demon.
But why would a demon want a shitty, fucked up body? It's like you buy a house.
I was trying to think of mine. I think that's mine. Possession, where it's body horror, where like I saw that like preview where it just broke its own leg, and I'm just like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I don't want that. That's too fucked up for me.
It's like it's what Beetlejuice made funny, but it's like, all right, I want to scare these people. Well, I'm going to take their kid, I'm going to turn it into a human tarantula hybrid, and I'm going to chase them around the house. Done. I get my house back.
But that felt like that was like based on a clear set of rules that everybody had. It wasn't like you must go to the Bible and it will tell the secret books of the Bible and they will tell you how to rid yourself of this.
How would I ever find the magic words to say? This book is so hard to find. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
It's in every room.
It's like, just stop being Catholic and you don't have to deal with any of this bullshit.
Yeah.
That's really what we all came to. There was like, oh, we could just stop being this and it'll be fine. Well, no, because you went through 8th grade. And so that's embedded in you.
Yeah. I remember thinking once I was like, man, all this possession stuff, it's so stupid. I would never go for that. And then my brain was like, oh yeah, that's exactly how they would get you. Like I would get a demon that's like, I know, man, isn't this dumb? We have to scare people. And it's just an easy way to scare religious people being like, oh God.
It's like how the DARE program made you feel drug dealers were going to be like, they're going to try and be your friend.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to tell you you're cool. They're going to build up your self-esteem. Then they're going to get you hooked.
I was thinking about the DARE program the other day that like, so I went to a number of schools where I was like the only white kid in, or one of a small number of white kids in like inner city, Richmond, Virginia. And I remember our DARE counselor being like telling us, coming and doing this like day presentation about like all these drugs and then being like, so does anybody want to tell me anything about your parents? Has anybody seen your parents use any of these things? And I was like, my father makes his own beer. And they were like, yeah, not that. That's not it. And I was like, it's a drug. And they were like, no, that does not count. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry.
What's his number, young lady?
Yeah. Like I immediately narked out my parents and they were like, demographically, you're not why we came here.
My mom, they gave us these forms that like we had to take to like sign, like I promise to stay off drugs, you know?
Yeah.
And my mom was like, you're not signing this. So I had to be like the only kid in class. My mom won't let me, which to them, they're just like, your mom wants you to use drugs. And no, she said something like, it's none of your business. And you know, we're all individuals and this is horse shit. I'm using her words, you know, but like, that's so fast. That's so funny. Oh, real quick. I've got to read the donors for last week for Andrew Orvidal had the Colorado Freedom Fund helped pay bail.
Is he there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's here.
Annie Harrington, Javisi, Whitey Magoo, P. Forrest, Snip Ticker, Anxious Pangolin, top donors, Slacker Joe, $52.80, Denver, Mile High, right on, No Coin, $25, and Swayze Meteor, still my favorite name, $25.
You hearing this?
We are at the tail, and yes, got your donors, Andrew.
For years.
Let's get like explain what your charity is real quick.
Oh, my charity is the Transgender Equality National Transgender Equality Center, I believe is a transgenderequality.org. And they do a lot of different programs, just working with getting transgender people resources and representation and better like legal representation. And they've got a great rating on charity rating stuff. I try to always look up the charities too, because like some of them, even if you're like, I love the idea of this, and then it's like, oh, a lot of this money goes to like administrative stuff.
Yeah. We save stray dogs, but we put them in Klan outfits. Like, oh,
yeah,
they've gotten so much money from me accidentally.
This one seems to have like a really good record of actually using donations to help people and to fund really cool programs.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, shit, Liza, this is great. I miss you. I want to hang out with you more and get back into, you know, like talking about horror in person, but this was a blast.
Yeah, likewise.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Halloween, of course. Haunted, scary times.
Yeah, we're making a haunted house in the backyard.
Are you putting a haunted house in that barn that's back there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very cool.
Is one of the features just getting tetanus from all the nails sticking out of the walls? I've been to that barn.
All right, Kyle, I'm here, okay?
He bought a bunch of fake spiders, and I'm like, that's the only natural resource back there. You have so many natural spiders.
That's right. You don't need to decorate. It's already
you're like, Andrew, those are real spiders. And Andrew like, ah!
Well, yeah. I'm excited for the haunted house, Eliza, and Andrew is back there. And hell yeah, everybody. This is a good time.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Bye.